Okay, I'm here. I'm here and I'm queer. Hi guys. How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a great weekend, a great um, beginning of Black History Month, right? Black History Month is here, and we are all celebration of the Black history, aren't we? Hmm? Let me see what you guys are talking about. Hello, Lepo. Hello, aka Dog. Hello, BTK. Hello, Carrie. Get on your engine, Black Carrie. You're in punishment already. Hello, Zilage. I like your new profile picture, Zilage. That's nice. Chinese food and a milkshake. Excuse me, sir. It's not a milkshake. This is a boba bubble tea. It's honeydew flavor. It is so. It is the bomb. It is the bomb, my friends. It is the bomb. See, it sounds bad when it comes from an Arab, doesn't it? It is the bomb. Thebomb.com. See, it sounds wrong. But see, this is why we can't say certain things. We just have to say it is good. It is delicious. We can't use slang words because every time an Arab uses slang words, FBI shows up, people start ducking and taking cover. Anyway, hello, Yakub. Hi, Neil. Hello, Kami Zombie. Wait, I missed Fix. Hello, Fix Bayonet. Hello, Samael. Hi, guys. Hello, hello. All right, enough with the hellos. I'm done with the hellos. You guys get the point. We're here, we're queer. Are you guys ready? Now, the topic that I wanted to... Let me take this off, okay? Hold on, guys. I'm a little bit too conservative today, aren't I? Let's get a little bit naked. All right. The reason I'm like this is because I came here in a hurry and I feel that I could have set up better, but nonetheless, I just wanted to be semi on time for you guys. So I look a little bit. These are my home clothes, but who cares? Whatever. I don't mind you guys seeing me in my home clothing. The topic of today's live stream is corporal punishment. Corporal punishment and domestic discipline. Domestic discipline is a phrase that has recently come up in the last 5 years. Well, I'm sure it's existed longer, but this is the new terming for it, domestic discipline. Now, this is something that is mostly in Christian communities that they speak about this. This is where a husband disciplines his wife physically, but it is not seen as abuse. And I know many people out there, especially Americans, Westerners, you guys say, well, how can a man, physically discipline his wife and it not be seen as abuse? There's no reason to hit a woman I can give you about 13 right off the top of my head, but truthfully, nonetheless, let's just domestic discipline is something that I'm very interested in talking about because you guys already know, like, I come from a culture where we we have certain standards for the women, right? The women are held to a certain standard that Western women aren't. And what happens when women in our culture do not live up to the standard that we're supposed to? What happens? Do you think that we go without consequences and that's we just I mean, there are things, right? And it's not abuse. It's not abuse. And I want to explain that to the Western ear because the Western ears, you guys have been brought up from young to believe there's never a reason to hit a woman. There's never a reason to yell at her. We always must treat the woman like a delicate flower. But how is that going for you, Westerners? How is that going for you, America? You guys treat your women like delicate flowers and they treat you guys like scum, like dirt on the bottom of their shoe, like a piece of gum that just got stuck on the bottom of their boot heel and they're trying to scrape off of it using, oh, I don't know, dog poo to get it off. I mean, this is how the women treat men in Western society. And all of this, I believe, is spawned from this idea of there's never a reason to hit a woman. The woman is without fault. Even if she is in fault, there's nothing we can do about it. No, there is. There is something you can do about it. But because of the training that a lot of Westerners have gotten since Yale Hall, they believe that any type of disciplining is abuse, and it's not. And I want to talk about that with you guys. The other thing is corporal punishment. Let me turn off this light. Please hold while I transfer your call. Okay. All right, that's better. I like sitting in the dark. Whatever. I don't care what you guys say. I like sitting in the dark. Corporal punishment to children. Now, this is another topic that is touchy. It shouldn't be, but it is. This spawns from the idea that anytime a parent raises their hand to their child, they are abusing them. There's never a reason to hit a child because you can always find a way to avoid spanking, right? We can just put them in a corner. We can have a sit down talk. We can take away their favorite things. We can, all of these things. But what about when all of that doesn't work? What do you do then? Of course, there are steps to disciplining, but when all that doesn't work and all else fails, we all know naturally, every adult here in this room right now, I mean, when I say room, I mean us, not in the actual room, except the ghost that we have here. Every adult in this room, hear me. And I know you're going to agree with me because this is just common sense and it is nature and natural. Every adult in this room knows what needs to be done, right? When you see a child that's out of control, everybody knows what needs to be done. That is a natural thing inside of us. We know because naturally every animal does this to their young when the young doesn't respond. Have you guys ever seen cats with their babies? They will beat the crap out of their baby when the baby is annoying them or acting crazy or getting into danger. They beat them. The dog too, the monkey too. And now you're going to say, well, Amir, we should be better than animals. Animals eat their own poo. Should we do that too? Listen, there's nutritional traits to everything. I'm joking. Wait. Before you guys click off, wait. I want to say this. I'm not saying that we have to be animalistic. I'm saying that this is something that humans understand, that children up until a certain age, they don't think like us. They don't have that logical part. And the best teacher in the whole wide world is pain. And unfortunately, if you go through the steps of speaking to little Timmy, taking away Timmy's things when he's bad, putting Timmy in a corner so he can think about what he did, and Timmy still flicks you the bird every morning at 7:45 a.m. while waiting for the bus. We all know what needs to be done, but we've been trained that we shouldn't do it. So that's just an overall thing, but I want to get into it now. I want to first speak about women. And I speak about women because this is the one I wanted to talk about so badly. I did a video a while back about disciplining women, corporal punishment to women. And my biggest pushback for this video was women saying, well, what about when the man acts out? What should happen to him? If you believe that women should be disciplined, don't you at the same time believe that men should also be disciplined? What do we do with the men? I love that. I love that question. There is something natural, right? I believe the majority of us here believe God over Christ, Christ over men, men over women, women over children, children over animals, animals over insects, and so on and so forth, all the way down to cells. Or not even cells, you could say, what is like the smallest, whatever you want to say. But there is an order to life, and it is strange and out of order for a subordinate to believe that they have the right to discipline their leader, if that makes any sense. There are ways that you can give the leader, consequences and repercussions. But as for disciplining, you leave that to other men. If your man is doing something that you don't like, or he needs to be disciplined, as you say, you get other men to handle that situation. This is why fathers are so important. This is why having a tribe is so important. But this is how we believe it anyway. Islamically, I have brought this up with you guys before, but it was a long time ago. And since my old channel is gone, here we are. We're going to have the conversation. Islamically, there is a verse in the Quran that a lot of Americans, they like to call out when they talk about how evil Islam is and how bad and barbaric it is. The verse goes like this. If a man has a wife that he fears, you could say disobedience, or that she's out of line or crazy, or she's going to bring shame to the family or put the family in danger. If you have a wife who demonstrates these types of behaviors, first, you must admonish her. You speak to her, sit her down, tell her what she's done wrong. Tell her why, pardon me guys, I'm sorry. Tell her what she's done wrong. Tell her why you are displeased. Tell her what she should do to fix the issue. If that doesn't work, then you go to stage 2. Stage 2, separation of beds. If you cannot get along, and I have spoken to her, or I want to say, like, I'm not speaking right. You have spoken to her. You've told her the issue. She has continued this disobedience or this bad behavior. Maybe she's speaking bad to your mother. She's being disrespectful to your mother. Maybe she's staying out and she's going out behind your back, and you already told her, don't do that. If you're going to leave the home, talk to me first. Or maybe, anything. It could be any behavior. You've already spoken to her about it. You admonished her. Step 2, you separate beds. You no longer sleep with her. That doesn't mean you sleep outside of the home. It doesn't mean you leave the home. You stay in the home, just go to a different room. Give yourself space from her. This space, of course, is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable, and that's what it's meant to do. It's meant to make you uncomfortable so you can think about what you're doing and understand that your husband is displeased with you. If she doesn't care and she actually enjoys her space, if she actually enjoys you being far away, she enjoys sleeping alone and having the full bed to herself, maybe she's not fazed. Maybe she's not fazed by you doing that. Then you move on to step 3. Step 3, beat her lightly. All right, guys, so that was the show. I don't think we need any more. We don't need to speak about how that happens. We can just leave that there. So thank you guys for joining me today. And with that, I yield my time. Cue the music. Beat her lightly. Beat her lightly is the 3rd step. And this is the one that most Westerners have a problem with. This is the one where Westerners come and say, "Oh my gosh, but at least in the Bible, there's no verse about beating your wife." Listen, there were questions asked to the prophet, and these were clarified. What do you mean, beat her lightly? What signifies a light beating? What is a light beating? What does that mean? Right? Does that make any sense? This is how the light beating is described. Your beating to your wife should never hit her face. There should be no bloodshed. There should be no bones broken. There should be no bruising left on her. People should not know that you have done it. This needs to be done in private. There should be no scarring. Like I said, do not harm her. And people say, well, what kind of beating is that if I can't harm her and I can't hit her face? That's the place I wanted to go first, because her stupid face looking at me. That's the first thing I wanted to hit, actually. But you have to control yourself. You're a human. You're a man. You're not a beast, okay? You don't treat your woman that way. There are rules to beating your wife lightly. And a lot of people are already turned off by what I'm saying, but I don't think you guys understand. Islamically, we don't believe in divorce. We don't believe in divorce. So, for us, we will try any and everything to keep our marriage together. We'll try anything, because divorce is not a thing for us. So for those who don't understand why we say certain things, this is the reason why. We don't want to separate. So if I have to admonish you, if I have to separate beds from you, I will do anything. I'll try anything and see what works. And a lot of times, well, most of the time, it never goes past stage 2. Most marriages never go past stage 2 in our culture, because the women know. They know the order. Once a man has separated beds from you, you know what's coming next, right? So we don't have to even think about those things. This is why there's not a high rate of domestic violence in the Middle East. No matter what CNN tells you, this is not something that is common. We do not have women running around the Middle East with black eyes. I have seen more women with black eyes in the United States than in the Middle East. We don't have this situation. And a lot of, if you guys want to know about the corporal punishment that men do, I'll give you an example of one of them. One of the ways that a man will punish his wife would be to tie her feet together, right? Put her face down on the bed, or even the floor, if wherever you want to put her. Put her face down, tie her feet, and they beat the soles of the foot. That area is very sensitive. It hurts very badly, but she will not have any marks, and you won't it's not like you're wailing on her. You're hitting her feet, right? That is a way that a lot of people do it. And I know, listen, for those who are talking about this and saying, well, if I have to do this much, then I just might as well not even have her. You need to understand, you can't, no matter how easy it is to say that, no matter how easy it is to say, like, well, if I have to go to that level, then I might as well not even. You don't understand. Well, not you. When you're in a situation where you've been in a marriage, you've been in this marriage for years already, you started a family possibly, or she is already integrated into the family. It's not easy just to drop somebody, and you're not supposed to. That's your wife. You're supposed to try to figure it out. You're supposed to try to work at it. So for those saying like, well, I'll just not have, that's not, it's easy when you think about it, and you're not in the situation. When you're actually in that situation, you understand why people go to that length. But if you've never been in a situation in a country that allows that, then you wouldn't understand what I'm talking about. As American men, I think you guys see it's like, oh, well, anything that I do, I'm going to end up going to jail. Anything I do, if I try to be the man of my house and correct my family and keep my family going on a straight and narrow path, anything I do, I'm going to be arrested. And that's why I say America has neutered their men. American men are so neutered, and I hate it. But, Lou says the nuns use rulers on us. That's another way you could do it too. But the purpose of the woman being lightly beaten, because we don't believe in anything like punching a woman in the face or anything like that. You will get killed. You'll get killed if you do that to a woman in the Middle East. You will get killed. You cannot do that. That's no. So she said the nuns use rulers. Pardon me, guys. I'm sorry. When you were speaking about the nuns using rulers, all I could think about was the idea that when you have a marriage, right? You have a marriage in the Western world, and you see how the women act towards the men. The women will beat the men all the time. They'll slap the men in the face. They slap the men in the face all the time in front of other people, and nothing happens. And nobody bats an eye for that man. Only if he responds, if he dares to respond, then all of a sudden it's abuse. So for all those Westerners who are telling me that it's barbaric for us to believe in a man controlling his family and being the leader of his family and doing what he has to do to make sure his family stays on a good path, for those of you guys saying that to me, I think it's worse to be in this situation in the West where you have the women beating on you and you can't do anything. And the moment that you respond, you go to jail. That's what I think is worse. Because you do have domestic violence in the West. Don't act like you guys don't have domestic violence. We're not calling for domestic violence. We're talking about a system of discipline with rules, regulations, and guidelines on how to assess the situation. You don't do it when you're angry. You don't beat your woman when you're like angry or you're drunk or something. We don't believe in any of that. But if you live in the West, majority of you guys have seen a man be drunk and come home and start beating his wife just because he's drunk or just because he had a bad day at work. All of a sudden, I'm going to come home and beat my wife. So for those Westerners who are coming to me and trying to be self-righteous and saying, oh, well, we don't believe in that. We're civilized. That's nonsense. You guys have it all over the United States. In fact, I believe it happens more here. And majority of times it's happening from women to men. Women are the ones beating on the men. And when the men respond, like I said, you guys already know the result. So I don't want to hear nothing about this self-righteousness from Westerners, from the Americas or from Canada or from UK telling me, well, we don't believe in that. You may not believe in it, but it's darn sure here. You may not believe in it, but it's happening all the time outside, and I've seen it. So don't tell me like, oh, we don't believe. Don't be self-righteous. Be honest with yourselves. That's what this conversation is about. Let's be honest with ourselves. People need discipline. I'm sorry. People need discipline. I don't care how old you are. And the reason is because here I've noticed discipline is a thing of the past. We are no longer keeping anyone accountable. And it's cute. It's cute now. Oh, look, we'll just put you in timeout and nothing else happens. No, I don't believe in none of this stuff in the West. And I believe you're ruining your society because women believe they can do anything and there's never a reason to hit a woman. That's the reason why the women are like that. Did you know something else? You know something so psychological about this? The Eastern way. When we talk about admonish, separate beds, and then lightly beat. There's a psychological aspect to that. The man doesn't even have to hit his woman or beat her or lightly beat her or whatever happens. You want to know why? The reason why a lot of women are controlled and more demure in the East is because we know it's a possibility. And just the fact that it's a possibility, even though it may never happen, it's up to the man whether it happens or not. But just knowing that it's a possibility forces women to behave because we know we're not invincible. We're not untouchable. So for that reason, we behave better too. You don't even have to do it. It's not something that's mandatory. You don't have to lightly beat your woman, but it's an option. So, and that's why I believe in the West, because women know it's not an option. It's not on the table. And if it does happen, he's going to jail and blah, blah, blah. That's the reason why women act out more over here, because they believe that they're invincible. They believe that no matter what happens, the government, daddy government, is going to be on my side, and I'm always going to be the victim. Anyway, now, unfortunately, we have a whole culture. The new men of today are coming out and saying, equal less, equal rights. If a woman touches me, I'm not holding back. I'm going to do this. If I have to punch her in the face. Now, I don't believe in that either. But this is what happens when when you don't have a system in place. You don't have etiquette when it comes down to this kind of things. This is what happens. People just out of control. They're just like, yeah, I'll beat her. In the Middle East, before we had the rules of number 1, number 2, and number 3, before we had those rules Islamically, men were beating their women with 4x4s. They were cutting their heads off and throwing them into holes, ditches, shallow ditches in the ground. They were taking anything and beating up, going upside the head of the woman. They were doing anything and everything. Why? Because there was no one to tell them, hey, listen, there's a better way to act. There's a better way to do this. Talk to her first. Don't just start wailing on her. But nobody in the Western world, when I speak about the 1, 2, 3, everybody only focuses on the 3. They don't even understand that majority of times, never does it ever get to 3. Usually it's always staying at 1 or 2. I mean, completely disregard the fact that we say, admonish. You do not just go and straight away start hitting your woman. Admonish. Oh, she still's not listening? Separate beds. Give it time. Don't do that to her just because you're mad at that moment. And those are things that I believe Westerners should listen to. Don't just ignore those 2 steps before the beating part, the lightly beating. Anyway, I want to hear what you guys are saying before I move on. D says, why you think I don't take women's opinion seriously? I don't know what you mean. Oh, I see what you're saying. Here it is. You said, Amira, it's what's left for them to learn. They should be careful what they ask for. Huh? I'm sorry. I don't know exactly which part you're talking about. I don't know what you're saying. AK says, women and men are structured and built differently, bodily, physically, you mean differently physically. Well, yeah, of course. That's why we don't believe that men should hit a woman like a man. Zelich says, it's a real shame that it's come to that. It really is. It really is. And that's why I say, when you see that the men are responding in America with, oh, equal less, equal right, I'll just punch. And I've seen videos online of like men punching women in the face at the bar. You guys probably seen that video too. Do you guys remember they were standing outside at the bar? The woman and the men were both drunk. The woman lightly smacked the guy in his face, and the guy, because he was of this equal right, equal left thing, he just rolled back and clocked her in the face, and she fell down like a sack of potatoes, unconscious. And you know what I'm talking about? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? And then there's comments there saying, oh, good on him. Don't let her hit you. Don't let her touch you. Am I supposed to agree with that? Am I supposed to agree with a man clocking a woman in the face like that just because she lightly tapped him? She only lightly tapped him, and he thought, this is my chance to hit a woman, because he has that pent-up aggression. A lot of Western men have a lot of pent-up aggression right now because a lot of them are starting to hate women, and with good reason. With good reason. I'm not even criticizing that, because I can see the reasons why you hate them. You have reasons to hate them in the West. So with that pent-up aggression, the moment that he felt that little tap from that woman, that was his green light to just, you know what I mean? So it is sad that it's coming to this, where we constantly have these rules. Don't do drugs. Do you think nobody's out there doing drugs? There's people getting high right now. Oh, don't drink and drive. They still do it. Don't beat your wife. Wives are being beaten as we speak, especially on the weekends, because that's when men like to get drunk, right? Wives are being beaten every weekend. But do we have those rules? Women, keep your hands off of men. Because that's another thing. Oh, let's talk about that really quickly. Actually, let me hear you guys' comments really quickly, because I'm not hearing you, and I need to have my pride be heard. GD says, if women want equality, then they shouldn't pick and choose to what is acceptable to them and what is not. I see what you're saying. It says sometimes women lie too. Well, everybody lies, isn't it? D14 says, all that feminist BS, we're never permitted to ask why he struck her. Thank you. Because there's never a reason to hit a woman. Amen. Remember D14? Do you remember? There's never a reason. Remember? So there's no reason to ask him why he did it because you should never do it no matter what, right? Everyone knows women start arguments for no reason, just like another group that you can't ask questions about, but it's always victims. The other thing is not so much about arguments, but women, majority of the times, I would say, I think there was a study done that said around 70% of the time, women are the ones who start physical violence when it does happen. They're the ones who start it, and then the man finishes it. Usually a woman will start by pushing the man around, getting in his face, putting their fingers on their face, throwing something at them, and then men respond because I would say that violence is a more masculine thing. Violence isn't really what women are made for, but men, they are built to be violent. They're built for the testosterone, the muscle mass, all of that. They're built for it. So you as a woman provoking this man that is built for this, and then when he responds, then you're the victim. Fionn, when I was a kid, it was normal for a teacher to speak kids. I think he meant spank. But anyway, when I was a kid, it was normal for teachers to spank kids. When my father's generation was kids, it was normal for almost any stranger to spank your kid if they were disrespectful to adults. And that's how it is right now in the Middle East as well. Nobody permits that. Nobody permits the disrespectful children. And America used to be this way. But now, listen, can I ask you guys a question? For those naysayers, for those who are upset with what I'm talking about, let me ask you, do you think that America is better today with no corporal punishment being permitted to the woman or the child? Do you think that we have better people today? Or do you believe that people were genuinely better before when we had corporal punishments? I'll wait. Because let's be real, we have crappy people today. We have crappy children. Teachers are quitting in mass. If you guys don't know, teachers are quitting in mass. And why? It's not always because of the wages. They say sometimes it's for the wages, but let's be real. The majority of them, when they go online and they make videos, why I quit, just type that into YouTube tonight after we finish talking. Do not leave me right now. After we finish talking, type that into YouTube if you really want to know, because I've watched this. I've watched an abundance of videos. Why I quit teaching. Just type that in. Why I quit. You will see the teachers, the majority of them are speaking about the behavior, the disrespect, the lack of parents disciplining the children, the lack of discipline from the teachers to the children. Even teachers can't even discipline them anymore. Do you guys remember when you could be held back in school and they would tell you, you need to write this paragraph 1,000 times before you go home? Just so your whole muscles here could be all bruised and tired, because that was a punishment. You can't do that anymore. You can't send a child to detention. Nobody gets suspended anymore from school. You can't get suspended anymore from many schools. So what is better? What's better? Now, what we have here, where we're always treating children like we treat children like they are the adults. We treat children like they are these perfect little things that can do no wrong, that we need to be subservient to. This is not how it should be. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care how special anyone thinks their kid is. This is not how it's supposed to be, because we're raising a generation of kids that, well, look what we have. Look outside. Kids, they have no respect for adults. You speak to the average kid today. When I was I forget where I was. I think I was at the doctor's office or dentist. The woman talking to her child. Her child was on their phone, as always, as kids always are. The child was on this phone. The mother said his name. I forget what it was. Let's just say Jacob, because I'm looking at Jacob right now. Jacob! Jacob! But anyway, she said, Jacob, son? He said, what? And he didn't even look up at her as he was still going. He was like, what? She's like, honey, I need you to put down the phone for a second because I need you to fill out this document. What? I need you to put your phone down so you can fill out this document. I need you to put your signature. You're old enough now that you can do that. Just sign it for me. He just sign it for me. I'm sitting there watching this interaction, thinking to myself, how many stars would I be seeing right now if it were me who had acted that way towards my parents? I didn't even look up to acknowledge them when they're speaking to me, and then I answered with what? The majority of children answer their parents what as as an appropriate response to your adult parent calling you. Appropriate answers now is what? I listen. Maybe maybe a lot of you guys were raised the way I was, but what was not an appropriate response from a child when you're talking to them? It's either yes, you can even get away with a huh. You can get away with huh in certain tones. Yes, yes, ma'am, huh. That's it. There is no what. I don't care how nicely you say it. What? It's still what? That doesn't fly. But now you see the children are saying that to the teachers too. So the same thing that happens, the way the children treat their parents, is how the children are treating the teachers. Teachers call them in school. All right, Jimmy, what? It's all trickling. It's trickling into the schools and it's trickling into their adulthood. So all right. I'll read your guys' comments. Lou says, my husband tells me that happened in schools a long time ago. I missed what you said about that. Suka. The funny thing is, I just spoke to Rachel. Right? And actually, I should show her text, you guys. Oh my God. Okay. So I sent the topic to Rachel and I said, Rachel, how are you doing? Good evening. Take a look at this. What do you think about this? I showed her, just the thumbnail of today's stream. And she put the laughing emoji and she said, WTF. She said, WTF, Amira. Seriously? I was like, seriously? What do you mean seriously? She said, so are we talking about sexually? That's what she said. She's like, are we talking about getting spanked sexually? I was like, you know what? I told her, I said, you would have that be the first thing that comes to your mind. This is not a sexual thing. This is real. It's a real thing. And you as a Christian woman, I told her, you as a Christian woman should know about this because this is mostly in Christian groups that talk about domestic discipline and this being an agreement between husband and wife that if you act out, I have the right to spank you if I need to. And there's nothing sexual about it. It's actually a man correcting his wife. So, hold on. I'm looking at what you guys said. Oh, I see what you're saying, Larry. Okay, so that's what Lou was responding to. It says, we got paddles in a 2x4. I got paddled in my school. I went to private school. I went to Catholic private school. And in my school, it was agreed to. My parents signed there's some kind of document, I guess, and they signed that I was allowed to be corporally punished at school. And I only had to be punished once in school. I didn't, but that's just because I was talking and I was having a good time with my girlfriend in the back. Not girlfriend like that, but you understand, my friend. And we were talking and enjoying time. I wasn't listening. And honestly, to be real, I didn't really hear her that day. But I'll be darned if I didn't feel her. Because when the sister came over, the nun, yeah, I got corporally punished. There you go. So yeah, she's a nun. Yep. What was I going to tell you? Oh, yeah, AK Dog, you said marriages end in divorce. Let me ask you this. So, would you prefer that this be a thing, or would you prefer that divorces just happen, that people just divorced? Because when you divorce, you're breaking up a family, you're leaving children who are going to be torn between two parents, you've broken up not just the man and the woman, but you're breaking up them and their extended families too. Remember, extended families also connect in a marriage. Everything is connected. The funds, the finances, all properties, assets, and all that. So would you rather that be a thing than to say, listen, not every man is going to go to jail for correcting his wife. And I don't think that women should be out there calling police on their husbands. If you did something wrong and your husband corrected you, take it. That you deserve. You earned it. And I'm definitely not speaking about men who abuse their women. There is a difference between abuse and correction. And you guys know that with children. Everybody knows that same thing with children. We use that same concept with children. But when I say it to about women, everybody gets all bundled up in their panties. Everybody's panties are all bundled up and everybody has a wedgie when I'm talking about this. Take out your wedgie and hear me. We have that same concept for children. Abuse is not the same as discipline. The same thing for women. Not every man that puts his hands on his woman is abusing her. Can I give you an example? Would you guys like an example? A personal example? Because I'm not talking because I don't know what it is. I know what it is. So, speaking from experience, I don't need to speak about this and tell somebody how it should be or how it shouldn't be if I've never actually been through it myself. You don't think that I've been out of line before? Okay? I have been disciplined by my own husband, and my husband is far from a woman beater. He does not beat me. He doesn't abuse me. He doesn't hurt me. He doesn't just come home and wail on me. That's not something that I'm talking about. When I'm speaking about this, I'm speaking about a man who is a man. He's the leader of his home. He's not abusive. He's not trying to hurt his family. But sometimes things need to be done. Sorry. Sometimes things just need to be done. And I appreciated him for more for it. And for those out there who are like, oh, look, she's just so brainwashed, she doesn't understand. I'd rather that than be in a divorce. I'd rather that than have to go through a divorce. So I don't. Oh, you do? All right, fix. Well, I shouldn't offer it if I wasn't prepared to give it now, should I? Back on my first year of. 1 second, guys. Aduh. I have to come all the way there to the salon? No, that's fine. That's fine. Let me finish my stream and I'll be there, okay? Honey, I just started at 7. So just give me 40 more, so 30, 40 more minutes and then I'll leave, okay? Okay. All right. Bye. My eyelash lady is going to do my lashes tonight because I wasn't able to see her earlier, so she's going to do my lashes tonight. But anyway, here's the example that I'll give you because, if I'm going to be sharing personal experiences, I might as well just go ahead. In my first year of marriage, I was still learning the boundaries of my husband. I didn't. And also, I was young-minded. I was young-minded when I first got married. I'd never been married before, so I didn't understand certain things, and I was pushing it. And because I had an idea that I wanted to speak about something right now, I didn't have any patience. My husband said, we'll talk about it later. I said, I want to speak about it now. Please come talk to me now. And he said, Amira, I told you right now I need to go do this. Give me a second. You guys can imagine how for me that wasn't a thing. I wanted to speak about this issue right now. I followed my husband to the garage. My husband was going outside. So our home was like the house, the garage, and then there's a brief pathway, and then there's the other garages where we keep the other cars. So he was coming down the stairs, going to the garage, and I followed him down. And then he was trying to exit from the first garage to go to the second garage where the cars are. But I wanted to speak to him, so I stood in front of the door. And I said, no. I said, speak to me now. I'm not letting you go. You have to speak to me, He tried very hard to say no and everything. And no, I wasn't accepting it. My husband gave me a firm slap across the cheek. He said, go upstairs. I said no. After being slapped firmly, I stood basically like, and I just went upstairs. And I sat in the bed and I thought about what I did, and I felt embarrassed. Really, I felt embarrassed My husband didn't even finish going outside because he came upstairs and he spoke to me. And he said, I'm going to talk to you about this today. I'm going to speak to you about this. He said, but I'm also going to call your father. Your father's going to know about this. You understand? And I nodded because I understood, because I was out of line. And yeah, my father knew. And my father even spoke to me. He said, why, what's going on? Like, what's the issue? And I told him what it was wrong. And I said, Baba, I had this thing and I needed to know. And he even talked to me and he said, this is something common in women, Amira. You need to suppress that. Give things time. Do not follow him around the house trying to, speak about things that he's not ready to speak about at that moment. Do not do that. You're causing problem. Don't do that. And that's what happened. And am I supposed to say that my husband now, should I have called the police on my husband? Should I have said, oh, look, guys, look, right there. Look, oh my God. Should I? Should I have been the victim? Should I have been crying to the rest of the world and speaking about how now I'm a victim of domestic violence? Because in the Western world, that incident would have been grounds for women to say, I'm packing up, I'm leaving. I'm not dealing with anybody putting their hands on me. That is what would have happened if it would have been a normal American or Western woman. Because Western women say, I have no tolerance for anyone treating me like a child. I'm not your child and you're not going to abuse me. Once he hits you once, he'll hit you again. What did you do to deserve that hit? That maybe if you prevent that behavior, then maybe no. That can't be the case. No. We can't think with that kind of logic. We have to always say, this is the beginning of a bad pattern and it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Really. So I think also it depends on the type of man you have too. You can't have certain lifestyles with men that are animals. If you have a man who acts like an animal, right, or who abuses his power over his family, that's something different, and it's a whole different ball game. And that is the type of person that I recommend a woman gets away from. But if you have the man that you said yes to, the man that you chose to marry, you have to know who that man is. You cannot be in these kind of situations with men that abuse their power or who are just out on a power trip to show their woman who's boss. That's not why my husband hit me. My husband never hit me for that reason. I deserved what happened. And I know a lot of Westerners like, oh, look, she's brainwashed. She deserved it. Honey, you never deserved that. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Don't tell me what I deserve. I know what I deserve. I know what I deserve and what I didn't deserve. I remember how I was acting. I remember it like yesterday. I know what I did. And if I say I deserved it, I deserved it. It's funny how people, and it's just so funny that if a person says that I deserved it, if a woman says I actually deserve that, oh, everybody will come and say, no, you don't know, no, you would never deserve that. No woman deserves that. Don't tell me what I deserve and what I don't deserve. You think I don't have common sense enough to know what happened and what led to that? So anyway, that's what I recommend for other women too. Understand what leads up to certain things. Recognize patterns. Recognize when it's not a right time to do something. And that's for husband and wife. Wife cannot physically discipline her husband. You can't. You just can't. I'm sorry, women. The life is not equal. It's not fair. Life is not fair that way, right? You are not the leader. You are not in the position to discipline him. If there is something that you want your husband to change that is not happening after speaking with him and so on, you need to get the men in your family to speak to him or to figure out that issue. If there has to be discipline that happens, get your father, get your uncle, get anyone who's a man to handle that. That's how that should be handled, not you. You as a woman stay in your place. I know a lot of people don't like to hear it. And I'm sorry if you don't like to hear it. And I'm sorry if it seems, unfair. I'm sorry if it seems unfair. But women, when you're born as women, you come with certain rights and responsibilities and privileges as well. Privileges and things that are going to be unfair to you. So you just have to outweigh the good with the bad as being a woman. And being a woman, we're not in the position to do certain things. We're just not. And it's out of order if you do. It's out of order if you're doing things what he should be doing to him. That's not, it's out of order. AK Dog says, men don't get F in the marriage. I listen, AK, I'm sorry, I cannot read your comments. I apologize. I'm not, maybe other people understand you. Richard, hi Richard. He says, same here, Fionn. I'd much rather get licks from teachers, mom, but the pissed off look from my father, I was always able to avert because I knew better. Can we speak on that? Can we speak on it? Now I want to go to the children. Since we've already spoken about marriage and woman and man, let's go on to children really quickly. But like I said, before we do, I'm going to read your guys' comments regarding the women and the men. Western women can discipline their beta husbands. Do you know what? I have seen so many. Oh my gosh. All right, out. Let me have a sip of my cognac. Cognac. I love boba tea. Yakub. The only thing that Western women are good at doing is playing the victim. But you know what? You guys allow it too. You guys allow it. You as Western society, you allow it and you promote it. Because the moment women start doing that stuff, automatically tell them, no, I'm not automatically arresting the men. I'm not automatically going to believe you. I'm not going to ask you. I'm not going to say that there's never a reason to hit a woman. I'm never going to say that. But men, you guys do that. You guys in America are doing that. And I think, like I said, women knowing that men say that there's never a reason to hit a woman. There's still men out there who say that kind of nonsense. You guys act like women are just these angels and they're just these untouchable things. When you do that, women believe it. Women get that in their head. There's never a reason to hit me. There's never a reason to hit me, but there's plenty of reasons for me to hit other people. And women, they use that. They hit men all the time. All the time in the street, I see this happening. Women being violent because they've never been put in their place before. They've never been put in their place before. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? You guys remember that video? We were watching that police video, right? The black woman was being arrested and she was in the backseat of the patrol unit and she screamed, I want to fight. She was talking about fighting the police officer, yeah? The police officer who was a man, like a 6'3" man, huh? Full gear and everything, pistol on the hip, everything. And she yelled, I want to fight you, to the police officer. And remember, you guys, when we saw that, I told you the reason why she's saying that, because people are like, oh, I wonder why she was saying that. The reason why she's saying that is because she's never been put in her place before. I guarantee a woman who's been put in her place, and I don't mean physically just beating the crap out of her. I don't mean that, but I mean properly, where a lesson is learned out of this. It's not just, I'm going to beat you, because a lot of people, when you just beat on them, they take it as, now I'm the victim. Now I can get victim points. Now I can be seen as, I can throw a guilt trip on you because you beat me. This is a very fine line. And like I said, when you do that, it makes people think that they're the victim all of a sudden. But if you do it the right way, a lesson will be learned from it. But like I said, she said that because she's never been put in her place before. You disrespected him. I think that's what you're trying to say. I don't think that it will be considered disrespect. I was annoying. I was annoying. It's like, you guys ever had someone where they don't understand this is not the right time to do something. Does that make sense? You telling this person this is not the right time. But me, as a young-minded new wife, I'm sitting here like, no, what do you mean is not the right time? In my mind, I'm like, yes, it is the right time. It is. How can you tell me it's not? If you want to make it the right time, you can make it the right time. You will make it the right time. that kind of thing. So I don't know if that would be considered disrespect. It's more of a annoying. You're just being annoying. And I learned a valuable lesson that day. I learned. I learned the importance of knowing the right time to speak to my husband and when it wasn't the right time to speak. Because everything needs to be done in time. There's timing for everything. That man comes home tired from working. He comes home tired. It's not the right time. If he has a certain tone of voice, it's not the right time. If it's, that's the essence of knowing your husband. And at that time, I was still learning him. I didn't know him that well, but you guys know we got married in 6 weeks. We were 6 weeks and we got married. So for me, I was still learning him. And yeah, it's just one of those things. Anyway, these are things that happen in a marriage. And when I say things, a lot of people were saying, Amira is saying these things, but she's never experienced them, or she's saying these things for other people to do, not knowing that things don't work out the way that she's saying. No, I'm not saying that because I've never been through it. I've been through it. I know. That's the reason why I speak on it. Zelich says not just that she would call the police if she were exactly Western women. Oh, they love calling the police. 911. Every time something happens with a husband, I need to call the police. I need to bring more people into my marriage because of a simple issue that could be fixed at home. I don't believe in calling the police ever, unless you're in fear for your life. You don't need to be calling the police, because calling the police only makes things worse. Any problem, because they're not there to make your situation easier. They are there to distribute punishment, to distribute ass whippings. Sorry. When I say ass, I meant ass as in donkey. But they are there to distribute arse whippings. They are there to bring justice, the heavy hand of justice. They're not there to make it easier. So, and they're darn sure not there to fix your marriage. So that's why I say, as a married woman, you do not call police on your husband. Do not do that. I mean, like I said, unless you're in fear for your life, this man is off his rocker and he has a gun or he's threatening to shoot you or something. And in that case, you need to divorce. You need to get far away from him. But in majority of cases, everything can be figured out in the home. Everything can be fixed. But I mean, I guess it just takes a woman who knows how to deal with her husband, a woman who knows how to speak to her husband. Ellie, or Elle, says hitting in the face is forbidden, and he didn't do the first 2 steps. He went straight to smacking. Wow. No. He has spoken to me before. He did. But you're right. I shouldn't have been struck in the face. But no, he did speak to me before. We had already had days of this because I was so upset, Elle. You have no idea. I was so upset about something. And for me, you guys ever been that way where you're so upset you don't want to hear nothing from anybody else, even someone's telling you the truth or what have you? In my mind, all I wanted to hear was, okay, we're going to sit down and speak about the whole situation. But I wasn't getting it. And because of that, I was just so... But yeah, Elle, it had been days. I guess I should say the longer version of what happened, but it had been days that this was happening. And yeah, it was bad. It was sad. But like I said, after that, it did help. It helped a lot that my father was now in on it because of what happened. He called my father. Now my father was in on it. And I told my father, make him talk to me about it. And my father made him talk to me about it. So it worked out in the end. But that was something that I never wanted it to reach that point, but it did. Let me see. Let me read you guys' thing. Beak says the lioness was being catty. Yeah, catty and bratty, we could say. Shadow says it was disrespectful. He, the authority figure of the house, said for you to do something and you talk back. Yeah. I think physicality was an over-escalation, but that was disrespectful to talk back. Yeah, you're right. You could, yeah. Yeah, now I see what you're saying. That could be considered disrespectful because I didn't, he said something and I refused to obey. That's true. I did refuse to obey that time. So, yeah, you guys are right. It could be considered disrespect. I hate using that word, but I have to be honest with myself. Yeah, that was then. It was. I saw it as being annoying. You guys hear me though. You hear what I'm saying? I saw it as being annoying. But you're right. He probably did see it as disrespect because he's thinking, I told her this, I told her to do this many times already because, like I said, I didn't let it go. It had been days that it was brewing. It was already brewing for days, but that day it just came to a head. And yeah, you guys are right. Yeah, you're right. But like I said, this was years ago. This is something that never was repeated because, like I said, I learned my lesson from that. There is no way I was going to do that again. I never, ever want to see my husband that mad at me again. I never want to put him in a position where he feels that his only way to deal with his wife is to corporally discipline her. I don't want to ever have to put him in that position again where that has to be one of his options, because I know he didn't want to do that. And even later when he was speaking to me about it, he was not happy about it. He didn't want to, but it truthfully it was needed. Women, sugar and spice and everything nice. Yeah, seriously. Oh, that's right. The Super Bowl is tomorrow. That's right. I don't watch Super Bowl, but I heard it is. Mr. Renegade says Keela, controversial but very balanced. Which one? Oh, here it is. It says, get those likes up. She's speaking on a very controversial topic. Oh, I see what you're saying. Controversial but very balanced. Yes. And let's move on to the children. Do you guys mind? I think I've gotten all your comments. Hold on. I'm looking through them. Lou, I see. Zyrex says, I actually agree with you, Amira. Never call the popo on your husband. I mean, I don't understand why that even is the first thought of women. Even when that happened, do you guys ever think that I sat there when I was in my room after my husband disciplined me? But I was in my room thinking, I should call the police. Never crossed my mind. Not in a million years would that have crossed my mind. The first person I wanted to call was my mother because I wanted to speak to my mother. I wanted her to tell me if I was wrong, but I didn't get a chance to because my husband called my father and told. My husband called my father, said, you need to speak to your daughter. She has lost her mind. My father calls me, what did you do? Baba, I didn't do anything. He says, do I have to bring you back home? No. No, I didn't do anything. Do I need to bring you back home? No. That and another aspect, I'll give you guys another aspect to that. Western families, the fathers in the West, they always say, if a man puts his hands on my daughter, I'm going, nah, nah, nah. And it's like, okay, so we're not even going to talk about what the circumstance was. We're not even going to talk about what led to this. If that is her husband, and that's a man that cares for her, who's taking care of her, do you think that this situation is something that, and the fact that men don't even want to hear about any excuse, they're like, oh, you hit my daughter, I'm coming there and I'm putting my foot so far up, you know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, so you guys aren't even going to talk about it as men? You don't ever think that there's a reason why this could have been provoked? Even though my father, I'm his little angel, he understood if this happened, something went down in that house, right? I don't know. That's another aspect about it because I think a lot of men too, I said this before to you guys that a lot of men are the first simps for their daughters. A lot of men are the first simp to their daughters. They're the ones who teach their daughter that being a simp is cool, that I can be a simp to you and that's part of me being loving. And it's like, no, 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 not just accepting any type of behavior. That's not okay. That's something that my father taught me too. I'm not going to accept just any type of behavior from you, girl. I love you. I'll spoil you. I'll give you anything in the world. But you are not going to just do whatever you want And you're not just going to have no rules, no regulations, and standards. We have conditions. What is the saying, guys? There are rules. Humans live by rules because without the rules, we are no more than beasts. Right, a word. They amplify the situation, the small issue, by calling the police that could have been fixed easily in the home. Exactly. I agree with you. Like I said, police are called on outsiders, not on family, unless, like I said, your life is in danger. But on family, you deal with it in the home. You would never see our issues, our physical issues, our family issues be we need assistance from the outside world to handle our family issues in this house. Never. We would never need assistance from anybody outside to fix our family in here. Everything gets settled right here. You guys see the tea room? You're in the tea room. Many conversations happen right here in this tea room. Many. Because the tea room is also one of the talking rooms. We also have the men's room, which is also a talking room too. But I'll show you guys the men's room later. But this is the tea room. Deep, hard, stressful, contentious conversations happen right here on these sofas. And there's more over there. There's more sofas, but you guys can't see. You guys can't see the whole room, but Fix says, Brent learned to slap me. It really did help. Really? I didn't think, oh, Fix. I didn't know that Brent had to take care of business with you. I didn't know he had to. Right. Lou. Oh, I see Lou. Okay. All right. I see what Lou is saying. But Lou is responding to people. Keela says, every woman has the power to do this in America. I urge every man to just walk away. Nothing is more valuable like your freedom. Oh, you mean when they call the police on men for just the smallest offenses? And that's the thing. And that's why I say it's the system here in America. That's what's screwing everything. That's why men are neutered. It's because the system comes to simp for the women. The system is only here for women. I'm like, so what about men? Men are the ones who have to take care of the woman, provide, protect, do all these things. And the moment that they actually do something that a provider, protector, a leader would do in his home, take care of that family, make sure the family's in the straight and narrow. And what's the point of having a leader if the leader can't do leader stuff? Do you understand what I'm talking about? All these women who say, I want a leader, I want my man to lead me. But the moment that he does some leader stuff, like put you in check, all of a sudden, oh no, he's abusing me. I can't, let me call everybody to come beat on him or let me call the police. He's doing leader things. He's trying his best to protect and to lead his family. And you are taking everything as it's abuse. Oh, guys, I don't know what you guys think about this. Ellie says, oh, okay, you were overbearing and glad you learned your lessons. No, L. I am L. You know how rough it is for me to tell the story? Do you guys understand how hard it is for me to tell this story? No? Maybe you guys don't understand. It is hard for me to tell it, but the reason I told it is because I can't speak about this topic as if I don't know from firsthand how this feels. I know how it feels. That's the reason I shared the story, because I know how it feels, and I'm not going to speak on this topic as a person from the outside telling other people what to do in their marriages, because I've never been through this. I've been through it. I know what it is. I know how bad feelings can be. I know how people can get in these feelings and what have you, but never would I talk about this without knowing what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason I'm talking about it, L. Sorry. L says, I think the hitting you're talking about would hurt our feelings more than our bodies. That's exactly what happened, L. I was embarrassed, L. I felt embarrassed. You know how it was just so embarrassing. And that's the point of it, if I'm not making myself clear here. The point of it is not to damage the woman, but it is to embarrass and punish. That's what it's supposed to be. The point of domestic discipline with your wife is not to damage her. You're not supposed to be damaging her. That's why I said there should not be any broken bones, no bruises, no broken teeth, no hair on the ground after everything is finished. There shouldn't be damage. You're not supposed to be damaging her. This is a man correcting his woman. This is not supposed to be a man beating a crap out of his woman. This is a correction. Now, moving on to children. Hi, cool cat. Moving on to children now. The same thing that I told you guys with the husband and wife. This is different a little bit to the children, but it's almost the same concept. When you spank a child, because in America, it's always like, we shouldn't spank anymore. I've seen so many videos of parents trying to discipline their children, and even the parent sat the child down. Oh my God. Dude. Okay, I'll come to your house. Okay, make sure you bring brown and black, okay? Because I want the brown and black. And then the length is to 11, 12, 13, I think. Okay? Okay. I'll be there soon. Right. So the same thing with the children. I've seen so many videos. The parents just sat the child down and they're speaking at the child, but they were speaking in a raised voice. Just because they were speaking in a raised voice, there were people in the comments saying, "Oh my God, you're so abusive to them. That's so abusive. You might as well just hit them if you're going to speak to them like that. Oh, you're so loud. Why are you speaking to them so loudly?" Man, I was, and it kills me to no end, because I'm like, okay, just like I said, when you have a man and you want your man to be a leader, when the man does leader stuff, which consists of even the rough times, even the rough nights, where the man has to correct his family, and it may hurt them for that moment, but the family is better off in the future for it. The same thing with the children. Why do you have parents who can't do parent things? Part of parent things is correcting your children the way you see fit. And a lot of times, I think a lot of people, when they think about spanking, they only think about abusing. They only think, everybody goes into this thing where they're like, "Oh, but I was abused when I was a kid." And we're not talking about you being abused. We're not talking about abusive parents. We're talking about parents being parents and spanking their children if it's needed. I'm not saying that that's the first thing that has to be done. I'm not saying it even has to be done. But when it's needed, it ought to be done. If you don't spank the children, the police will. You don't spank your child, police will. Who do you want to physically rough up your kid? You? You pinching them by the ear and taking them in the house? You taking a belt to them? Or the police taking a baton to them, a taser to them, a gun to them? What would you want? There should be laws. There should be laws, and I think there may be in some states, but there should be laws, and the laws should go like this. When a parent is disciplining their child, they should not result in broken bones. The same rules I said: no broken bones, no broken teeth, no hair pulled out, none of these kind of things. There should be laws and regulations and rules, because without the rules, we are no more than beasts. There should be rules to disciplining the children. But one thing that we should not do is not permit the parents to discipline physically. Physical discipline, there's no better teacher than stinging, that stinging feeling from getting hit with a belt. Okay. But in all fairness, I still believe that children should be spoken to first, and punishment should be had before it leads to spanking. Spanking should be the last result, the last option, right? It shouldn't be that, the first thing the child does, and then, it should be the last option. But the fact that it's not even allowed to be an option in the first place is the reason why we see in schools, you see the school. If you go to school right now, you go to middle school, You'll see the kids doing whatever they want, the teachers trying to get their attention. The children will turn around and say, and I'm saying this because I recently went to a school. If you guys don't understand why I'm so passionate about this, it's because I've been seeing it. I recently saw it. I went to the school because we had to pick up the kids. Went there to pick up the kids. As we're in school, the teacher was in front of the class telling the students, okay, guys, sit down before the bell rings, because I was there to pick up our girls. Sit down before the bell rings. Everybody sit down, put your hands on your desk and put your heads down on the desk until the bell rings. She wanted everybody to just be in a calm mood before the bell rings. Understandable. That's such a good practice. What were the kids doing? I'll wait. You guys can guess. I'll wait. What do you guys think that the children were doing as the teacher told them to put their heads on their desks until the bell rings? Kids were talking, having full-on conversations. In the back, there were girls doing some makeup, or was it, I don't even know if it was like makeup or like some kind of a thing with the mouth. I don't know what they were doing. They were doing that. The boys were throwing stuff at each other. It was like as if the teacher was nothing. The teacher was just like a table in there. Like she was part of the room or something. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like she just seemed like she was a part of the room. That it wasn't really a person who commands respect. And the teacher, when we were speaking to the teacher after the children had left, she even spoke to us and she said that when she wants to punish a student, she'll send them to the disciplinary, the principal or what have you. The student will be right back in her office within 20 minutes. And no punishments have been handed out. She even says that you can't do anything to them anymore. The worst you can do is write them up. And then they have student counselors in almost every class. And the student counselor is there to speak to the child because we are worried about the anxiety. We don't want the children to be anxious. Anxiety. Now, you guys remember, we have kids. We have 2 girls of middle school age. Do you think I'm sitting here thinking about their anxiety? Does that make me a bad parent? I don't think so. You talking about anxiety, you as a child, you think I've never been 11, 12 before? I know what it is to be 11 or 12. You're not going to come and talk to me about no anxiety that I've never felt before and I never got through. You're going to learn how to get through anxiety the old fashioned way. You're going to figure it out. I'm not giving you medicines. I'm not giving you Ritalin or whatever the other things are that they're giving all these kids. I'm not giving you all that crap. You're going to learn how to do it because that's part of growing up. You learn how to do it naturally. How did all the generations before us do it? How did they all survive their anxiety? How did they all survive middle school? They did it just like us, and you're going to continue to do it just like we did. That's why I would look at them and tell them, you're going to learn how to deal with it like your generations before you have done. You're not doing this new age pop pills all day. But the teachers, so the current teacher says, well, the students, we have to always have this into consideration. And now there's no punishments because we believe that punishing takes away the self-esteem of the students. And we need them to have good self-esteem and we want them to be motivated into school. So my purpose as a teacher is to make sure that I make everything fun for them so that they can learn in a fun environment and where they're more willing to listen. And so I looked at her, I almost cursed because I said, teacher, life is not fun. What do you mean fun? I don't need them to have fun. They can have fun at home. I need them to be learning. I understand that the school board is putting you to make these fun curriculums, but where is the sense of, this is black and white. I'm not giving you colors all day. You're not in kindergarten. Not everything is fun anymore. Where is the sense of the black and white sheet of paper is all you need to learn? You black and white. You have the schools today. If you guys ever been, I don't know if any of you guys have it, if you guys been in the schools, there's colors everywhere because the kids have to feel fun, like they're having fun in order to learn. I know I'm off topic, But I feel that it was important that I gave you this kind of side piece of what I'm talking about. I know I'm off topic about the punishments, but you guys hear me out. When we're talking about the school system and the life at home, something is wrong where we treating the children like everything has to be entertaining to them. Like we are a bunch of clowns as adults, we're all clowns to make sure the child feels entertained. When did it become this way? We are not clowns for these kids. I'm not your clown, I'm not your entertainment, and I'm darn sure not your iPad. So anyway, aside from adults being mere clowns and entertainment for children, not only are we clowns, but we're also clowns that have no authority or no ability to punish them in schools and at home. So we're clowns. They're anxious, and we have to pander to that. And we can't punish them. We can't do anything. I'd be darned if it's like that in my house. You ask our kids what happens when something happens when they're bad. And listen, we were raised up the same way. So I'm not listen. I and a lot of you guys are raised the same way. Am I right? Am I right? Wait, wait. Let's have a quick poll, guys. Everyone who was raised the way that I was raised, give me a thumbs up. If you were not, give me a thumbs down. I want to see how many of you guys were raised the way I was. And when I say the way I was raised, we were raised to address adults a certain way, right? We were raised that if mama and papa said you need to be home at this time, you are home and there's no questions about it. We were raised that there was no sitting down and go think about what you did. If we messed up and we knew we messed up, we knew that that was our hiney. That was your rear end. Are you guys with me? Were you guys raised that way too? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You see, I'm not alone. I am not alone. And that's the same way that I want our kids to be raised. I don't listen. Look at all these thumbs up. So, how is it that we have all these thumbs up and yet we have to treat the kids that are coming up today like they're better than us or like they're holier than thou and we are the clowns? What is wrong with us today? Look at all these thumbs up. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. See, for a second there I thought that you guys were okay. I thought that you guys were looking at me like I was crazy for a second. I am so happy. I'm so happy to see that you guys understand exactly what I'm talking about. You guys have no idea. Look at this. This makes me so happy. So let me ask you guys. You guys have been raised the same way. So how can I phrase this question? When you see kids today, do you believe that you were abused? When I'm not talking about, I'll ask you like that. Do you guys feel that the way that you were raised up caused you damage that how is the way to phrase this? You guys understand what I'm trying to say, right? Because they're saying the reason why we don't corporally punish is because we don't want to damage their self-esteem. We don't want them to feel like they're abused. We don't want them to be afraid of us as parents. Do you guys believe that you were damaged because you were raised the same way I was? I'll answer too, but I want to hear your guys first. AK Dog says, I was taught to respect elders as long as they respect you as a kid. See, I'm not, I'll see, we're gonna, now for me, it was different. I'll explain later. GD says, children need to learn about the consequence of their action. Otherwise, you end up with idiotic, woke adult children. That's what we have right now. They are smarter than us in their mind. They're smarter than us. We're stupid. We're the clowns. We have to entertain them. We're only here for entertainment. We're here so that they don't get bored. Did you guys know that? We're here so they don't get bored. And the schools all promote that. You can't talk, Shadow, because you're only 20. That it doesn't count. Dio says, at the beginning of the Roman Empire, men had the right to end their wives and children. At the end, they were protected classes. Discipline matters. Fionn, thank you, Fionn. He says, I didn't consider it abuse. Brahman says, nope. Okay. So Lapo says, it is a trophy for all mentality. I don't know what you mean by that. Zelich says, no, the stories of what my grandfather did was much worse. Zelich. Oh my gosh, you are so right. Because no matter what we went through, right? No matter what we think we went through, our parents and our grandparents, imagine what they see. You brought up a good point. You brought up a way better point, because even us, we thought we had it hard, but even we were coddled a bit compared to, you know. Josh says, no, I wasn't abused. I appreciate how my parents raised me, and I appreciate it too. Can we all give it up for the parents? I'm getting tears in my eyes, guys. Oh my gosh. I can't even. I can't even. Ooh. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys giving me these memories, because I appreciate so much that my parents did what they did with me. I appreciate it so much. And for people today to call that abuse, it really pisses me off, because I'm like, you think that is abuse? Parents being parents and caring and doing what's necessary so that their children can think and not be stupid. And oh, yeah, no. Exactly, Keela. They're actually creating the real monsters. Saban says, I was disciplined, made to do chores, and expected to behave and be respectful. I turned out just fine. And guess what? The majority of us, I don't know all of you, but I would bet that you guys like me. When a person calls your name, that you don't answer what? And I bet majority of you are over 18, and we still don't speak that way. So why is it that you have kids that are 11, 12 answering what to adults when they call their name? Because now they're not being corrected. Nobody says, excuse me? What do you mean what? Oh, you must think that I'm your friend that called you. Oh, no. This is Miss Al-Wahbi. You will address me as such. Don't, nobody stops kids and says that anymore. Now people just say, that was rude, or that was strange, and they just keep going on about their day. If a kid answers what, you stop them and say, excuse me, I'm sorry, can I hear that again? Because most of the time they won't say it again. I had to respect elders and authority. Thank you. Richard says, from my mom, respect God, then family. From my dad, better behave. Richard, yes. PJ, says, I got whoopings I didn't deserve. Brother is psychopath. He did stuff and denied. I got punished for lying. Oh my gosh. You know what? That's why I'm glad I didn't have any brothers or sisters. I never got a whipping I didn't deserve because of that. Because, I didn't have anybody to blame. But I'm sorry about that. Now, that's hard. It's hard to get something that you don't deserve, right? That's a situation where it's rough. But you know what? You have to forgive your parents, because I don't know your parents personally, PJ, but a lot of times your parents, they're doing what they thought was best at that moment. And, you bring it up to them as an adult and tell them, hey, you gave me whippings I didn't deserve back then, but I don't know how your relationship is with them. I was told to always listen to the adults. Me too. Same here. I was told to always refer to an adult when I was confused, that we shouldn't ask other kids for answers, because my parents wanted me to learn from elders. They didn't want me to learn from other kids. And this is part of the reason why I think the way that I do. Remember, me and Rachel went to the same school, but you see how we turned out. Now, if I were more like her and I listened to the kids around me more than I listened to the elders, I might be thinking more like her. But you see how differently we think? Is because I was trained to listen to the elders. I listened to those above me. But yes, Jakub, I was always told to listen to adults. Same here. That was the nicest shut up to Shadow. Because I said, you're only 20. You can't speak. I mean, yeah, I get it, Shadow. I'm only 7 years above you, but still, I still feel like I am, I am the authority here. Let me see. Poor Shadow. Stop feeling bad for him. Don't feel bad for him. He's my brother. Yeah, don't feel bad. Keela says, other women try to shame me for speaking assertively to my children, especially my daughter. You see, because she's a girl, don't talk to her that way. There's never a reason to speak to her. No, you speak to her as you see fit. I don't believe that you're going to be screaming at her, calling her bitch or anything. But at the same time, my father he didn't speak to me like, oh, hi, my princess, hi, my special pumpkin. He never spoke to me like that. But I was spoiled at the same time. But anyway, I just ask, look how you turned out not having a father. Oh, Keela, you can't do that. Keela. They get so triggered. Oh, Keela. Hi, Rhonda. Rhonda says, I got the belt when I was growing up and I never felt abused. Rhonda, same. Never have I felt abused. Like I said, there is a difference between being abused and being corrected and disciplined. The other difference is parents throwing any and everything at you. There is a fine line between that. But I don't believe that a parent doing certain things is abusive. Now, if a parent is punching their kids in the face and in any part of the body, really punching them, kicking them, you're being abused, honey. You're being abused. If your parent is wailing on you, leaving marks behind, you got bruises everywhere when your spanking is done, you're being abused, honey. That's being abused, and that is something I do not promote. I don't promote abusing children. You guys know how I feel about children. You abuse a child in front of me, you're going to have to abuse me too. We're going to be getting abused together. There's no way I will allow that crap to happen in front of me. Suka, I'd probably be in jail right now if I wasn't disciplined. I think majority of us would, right? We'd all be acting crazy. But then you know what? There's a whole group of people who say, "Oh, but guess what? There's a lot of people in jail who also were spanked too, and now look at them. They're in jail." Well, see, that's what happens when you're not spanked for the right reasons or you're not spanked properly. Hi, Jason. Guys, I have to go. I have to get going because I have to go to my eyelash lady's house. Oh, but you know what I'll do? I'll open a panel for 10 minutes. I'll give a panel 10 minutes and then we will cut it down. Saban, exactly. Ma'am or sir is how I was expected to answer. Thank you. Same thing. And I'm Arab. And I was expected to answer that way. But that's also because I went to private school, and in private school, they kind of made us say that too. But it gets you in the habit of speaking a certain way when you speak to authority figures or elders or people that you respect. That's how we were trained. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, sir. I'll put the link in the chat right now. Here is the link. Join me for 10 minutes, guys. We only have 10 minutes. Or I would go longer if Samael wants to carry it on. If that, I don't know. I haven't done that in a really long time. But, Yakub says children's behavior is always the fault of the parents. I would say 95% of the time, yes, 95%. But there is a 5% or 3% chance that there is something that they learned outside that they were just experimenting on. You know what I mean? There's always a chance of that. Because I've seen plenty of great parents, and then the kid acts a certain way when they go outside. Maybe they're trying to show off. Maybe they're trying to be cool. Bye, Shadow. Sorry, Shadow, if you sad. Oh my goodness. Oh, here's my client. Oh, my client from work. Oh no, Jason, really? He said my mom broke a spoon trying to make sure I didn't do that, but my dad's belt made sure I didn't answer like that. Wow. Wow, Jason, you had good parents. You had really good parents. They were making sure they did anything. They even sacrificed a spoon to make sure you'd be good. That's good, Jason. That's good. I love hearing these stories. You guys have no idea. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about this conversation that we're having, but I love these kind of stories because it's good to hear how other people grew, how you guys were raised, how you guys were trained, and so on. It's something that I don't speak about this every day to anyone. In fact, the majority of us don't really think about these things until they're needed, like until we see a kid who's bad and we're like, oh, I know what needs to be done. We all know what needs to be done. You know what I'm talking about? When you guys are at the stores, right? And you see a kid acting out in public, you see that there are the parents who are like, "Oh, you're going to get time out when you get home, or you're going to get this or you're going to get that." And everybody in the back of their minds knows what needs to be done, but nobody wants to say. Can I You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Like, we all know as humankind what could be done to address that situation of the child acting that way. We all know. And we don't need to be taught that. We don't need teachers to come and tell us, well, what you do is you make sure the child is spun around 180 degrees, you pull down their pants and you spank them. No, we don't need to be taught that because we automatically know. It's nature, it's natural for us to know what needs to be done. But anyway, I just hate that we're all trying to suppress that. No, we can do it a different way. Well, we already see how the kids are turning out. Dio says abused. They would call discipline abuse. This is the problem. We start sticking our nose in other families' business. Ooh, where do we draw the line? Spanking, striking, drawing blood. You know what? When we're talking about sticking our nose in other families' business, this is something that here, when I see a family, right? Recently, just recently, I was over at Rachel's house. I was at Rachel's house, and her neighbor was disciplining her son in the backyard of their home. And they had the boy outside, and I think they spanked him, and we could hear it. But anyway, he was getting himself taken care of. Rachel and I were sitting there, and Rachel, even though she's more of a, oh, let's just do timeout type of person, even she understood when I was talking to her. I say, Rachel, you better not get involved. You better not get involved. That is something that parent knows, because that parent spends 24/7 with that child. That parent knows what that kid needs. And we're just seeing a snippet. We're seeing a snippet of their lives when we see a kid being spanked. We don't know how many times that woman has had to tell that boy, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. We don't know how many times she's had to do that. We don't know how many times he's been punished and sent to his room. We don't know how many times he's had things taken away from him and trips canceled and so on and so forth. All we see is the spanking. So, you're right. Stepping in people's business, and we don't know the whole story. Same thing with my husband and I. If someone would have seen my husband smack me, what would they have said? Oh, that poor woman, she's abused. He's abusing her. We must call the police and get her some help. That would have been the worst thing that they could have ever done. But people, because they think that they know best, they'll come and say, I'm doing the right thing as a citizen. I'm helping you. I'm helping. You're not helping. You're in the way of other people's business. You don't know what's going on. And sometimes you thinking that you're helping, all you're doing is messing things up further. So I don't know. I mean, I know that people like to be good citizens, and a lot of people are like, you step in, and the reason why things are bad is because no one steps in. Everybody refuses to step in and get involved. I believe you need more information before you get involved. And if you are going to get involved, don't bring other people with you. Like, if you wanted to get involved in a marital situation, You can ask a question. You can see about, ask the neighbors. Do you guys know anything about this? Does this happen all the time? But don't just go in there and bring police and all this stuff. You don't know anyway. But yeah, you're right. You're right with the child thing too. Don't get in people's business. You don't know how many times those parents have tried to set the boy straight before they got to that ending of having to spank him. But anyway, so I'm looking at your guys' things because I'm gonna get going now. I'm gonna go because I need to get my eyelashes done. In case you guys don't see, they're falling out like crazy. You guys probably can't see because it's dark, but see, it's like you guys can't see anything. Whatever, but still, I need to get them fixed because, yeah, they're irritating me. Richard says she told her eyelash specialist she'd be on her way 10 minutes ago. Listen, that is brown people time, okay? I'm living on brown people's time. Listen, stop. I didn't ask you. Listen. She's Middle Eastern, so she understands what I meant by that. So stop. What, Suka? Are you gonna tape them up? Next time I come back, they're gonna be like, oh, by the way, guys. I hope you guys have a good Super Bowl tomorrow. Who's playing? Do you guys know who's going against who? Can you guys put in the chat who's going against who? Because I'm not gonna watch it. Well, I might, but I don't usually watch the Super Bowls, but yeah, there's a lot of things going on tomorrow, and I got invited to Rachel's thing. She has this thing going on because her husband watches football, and she's like, "Come over." Of course, I'm not gonna go because because I think the husband is gonna have a bunch of his guy friends over, and I'm like, no, it's a man thing. I'm cool. But who's playing? Oh, I see. Taylor Swift. I don't know why that tickled me so much. I have no idea why that was so funny. Go to the naughty corner. Stop. Go to the naughty corner. I don't even make mine's long. Stop. I don't even wear long eyelashes, so stop. Wait, who's Boo the 40 Whiners? Who are you talking about? KCVSSF? Who are we talking about? Kentucky Fried Chicken versus what? South? What are we? 10 minutes when I get there. Who is playing? No one is telling me. You guys are writing code. Who is who? Oh, is this it? Chiefs and 49ers? Okay. But why 20 versus 17? Is that your guess of what the score is going to be? What? Richard says, every self-respecting Cowboys fan dislikes the 40 Whiners. Why are they called the 40 Whiners? Tell me why. Hold on. Wait, I'm going to check myself. I'm not even going to ask you guys. Hold on. Let me type it. Here it is. Okay, it says, now I understand why they are called the 40 Whiners, showing their lack of class and integrity at the end of a game. What a sorry bunch of bums and sore losers. What? What did they do? What did they do? What a classless bunch of losers. They lose for the first time in 3 months and start lashing out. Oh, but anger and acceptance is a healthy step towards healing San Francisco. People are calling them birches. You guys know what I mean by birches, right? Birches on the field and off the field. Nothing to respect whatsoever. Um People said, I gotta admit, I was drunk when I first started watching the game, and it sobered me up watching it. They are coming up with every excuse in the book as to why they lost, and even some are still saying that Purdy was in the game. That if Purdy was in the game, they would have won easily. Maybe mental gymnastics like that will help chomp on those pillows tonight. Okay. All right. People are ruthless. People are ruthless when it comes to these sports. People, okay, so the reason why they call them the 40 whiners is because they lose and then they whine about it, right? They whine about losing. You said you would have to be a football knowledgeable fan. Ask the Oakland Raiders about San Francisco. Okay, I got it. I got it. I think I'm getting it now, but they're whiners. So they whine about Taylor Swift's boyfriend. She her boyfriend is a football player? Is that what you're saying? F the woke bowl. Lowell, so sick and tired of hearing about Taylor Swift in the last years. She dumped him off too in her career or music scene. I don't know what you're saying. Are you drunk? Get you always type like this. Let me see. What? All are going to see Taylor Swift. Oh, Samuel, he's already made a prediction. Everybody put your money in. Samuel says that the Chiefs are going to win, just like the Patriots won after 9/11 and the Saints won after Katrina. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. It's all talk metaphor. It's sports talk metaphor. Cowboy fans dislike the 40 whiners. You talk about it as if it's written in stone that every Dallas fans has to hate the 40 whiners. I mean the 49ers. Now you have me saying 40 whiners. Neil says, I don't know. I stopped caring about the Super Bowl or anything else NFL when they decided that they had no respect for the national anthem, the flag, or the republic for which it stands. He has a point, guys. He really does have a point there. Why is America caring about this group when they have no respect for the country that saw them even be famous? Mr. Renegade, yep, the NFL is rigged like a MF. You mean beaches. Go do your lashes. Oh, right, right, I'm going. All right. I am right. Let me call her, guys. Hold on. She's probably going to be like, honey, you just leaving right now? He called them pillow biters. Yeah, what does that mean? Hello, Jay. What do you mean where I'm at? I'm coming. Are you home? Oh, you just got home? Okay, perfect. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Do you want me to bring something? You want me to bring some fruit? No, yeah. Take your shower. Take your shower. That's fine. Hey, you gonna make me some food? Do you have some sweets? I want sweets. Okay, okay. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Okay, go shower. All right, bye. I'm so bad. I'm so Arab. I'm like, you got some food? Should I bring some food? I'm probably gonna bring her some food too. You know, it's not right just to go there and eat up people's food. Well, people do that to my house too. So listen, if I do it back to other people, you guys do it to me too. People come to my home and raid my refrigerator, my pantry, my garage, my everything, eating all my food. So listen. Zila says, your eyelash girl is treating you to food. She does. She cooks for me too. She cooks for me. She does my lashes. She does everything. It's one of the good things of the profession that I work in. See, in my profession, we get everything pretty much free. All my dental work is done for free. My hair is done for free. My eyelashes are done for free. Because I helped her beat a case. So, yeah, in court. So, I get everything for free. Being functional is racist. You're gonna make me some food. Careful, Mira. Your next slap is gonna be. Are you guys just betting on when I'm going to be slapped again? Wonderful, wonderful. Stop it, stop it. I can be slapped anytime I want. I could just tell my husband, "Honey, can you just give me one quick flip?" So fast. I'll be like, "Oh, I didn't even finish the sentence." He'd be like, "No, I've been waiting. I've been waiting to slap." But anyway, all right, guys. He says that's bomb, good friend. Yeah, she is really good. She's good. But like I said, I had to work very hard to get that treatment, that kind of free stuff and everything. Gosh, my hair looks crazy. It's okay, guys. I'm gonna have everything done tomorrow. Maybe I'll come back again tomorrow. But actually, you guys are gonna be watching the Super Bowl, so it's okay. I'll catch you guys sometime this week coming. Okay. Anyway, also, I want us to have a conversation. I want to open the panel, and I want you guys to come speak with me. So, we let me know if you guys are okay with coming tomorrow. Do you guys want to come back tomorrow? I'm thinking Monday. Let's just do Monday. We'll do Monday. We'll do Monday because I have plans with my husband tomorrow, so we'll just do Monday. Okay. Good night, guys. Thank you all for joining me tonight. It has been a pleasure. I know this conversation was a little bit controversial, but so is life. I appreciate you all, and with that, I yield my time. Good night, everybody.
Well, I say every day it's a getting closer to taking a bath with my fucking toaster.